Hey everybody, I hope you're all having a great day so far. How's my day been? Still getting over the cold, so I guess a little slow, but not horrible. But let's go ahead and get to programming. Alright, so I think I was trying to finish up the terrain generation. Sorry, right as I start streaming I start getting congested again, but I had decided to maybe wait on trying to figure out how to smooth these, the lighting here on the edges of the terrain, because I thought that the sharp edge kind of helps make obvious the different hexagon spaces on the map. But I think once I get some final art in here, I'll be able to figure out for sure how I want it to look. And then I moved on to the collider, and it is almost done, except there's no collider here. And I guess it's kind of hard to tell, but there's no collider right here in this corner. And so we have to split this up so that in 3 ways, one for each hexagon. So yeah, this side would be for this hexagon, that one, and that one, for example. And it's not going to be very difficult, so let's just jump right into that, I guess. Okay, so again, the collision just uses the same points as the visual mesh, but only a portion of them. Okay, it doesn't want to create that function for me for some reason. Create triangle margin. I guess we'll get rid of this while I see it there. So I guess the point is we need to find the middle point for each side of the triangle. The easy thing for these triangle margins is that the center point is always at index 0 in the positions list. Oh gosh, let me blow my nose. And I think I forgot to mute my mic the first time, so I'm sorry about that. This is a very professional stream, we all know. Anyway, okay, so the number of points on the side of a triangle, I think, is given by, yeah, the arranged data right here. So so the center point would just be this divided by 2. Alright, so center on a side. Let's do this. Side points on the side is just section dot point arrange data 0. And then I guess, okay, well, let's just offset would be this divided by 2. And then the center point is just at 0. I don't even know if I need to put that in there. But so we'll just have 3 triangles. That's interesting. I forget the order that I arranged the sides in. Okay, well, let me look. Okay, yeah. So it goes, okay, so from here, okay, so it goes clockwise around the center of the triangle, so that's nice to see. So for this one, we need to get the first midpoint. Okay, so we're actually going to need 6 triangles because there's like one that goes like that and then one that goes to the center of the triangle. Okay, so let's see. Go back to this. Do a bunch of different points. So this would be, I guess, origin to the counterclockwise triangle is, again, it has to be +1 because the point 0 is the center point. So, and right now this point is supposed to be this one right here. Not sure what these numbers are supposed to be. I don't think I actually use them for anything anymore. I must have tried to order these points by something. I think I'll just get rid of them because yeah, they're not used for anything. Okay, so anyway, we're trying to find this point. Which is just the center point offset. We don't have to multiply the num points on side by anything. And then int counterclockwise to the clockwise neighbor. Is the same thing, except we'd also add the number of points on side because we need to go around like that to here. And then the next one we just multiply by 2, so this is the clockwise to origin mid. Alright, okay, so again we'll have 2 triangles, one that goes downwards like that and then the one that goes upwards towards the center. So let's start with the downwards facing one, and we'll just start with, oh, that is a good point also. I guess we need to know these points. So origin corner is 1. And then the counterclockwise corner is 1 plus the number of points on the side. And then the clockwise corner is 1 plus number of points on the side times 2. I guess we could actually put these first, and then to get the midpoints, we would just add this number of points on the side. Okay, so now I don't need to do that. Okay, I guess that's a little clearer. Okay, so the first triangle will start here and move around like that. And that is the origin corner. Again, we have to wind this clockwise, so then we have to go origin to the counterclockwise mid, and then clockwise to origin. And then we have to give it the owner, which is yeah, the specific hexagon that owns this triangle, so there we go. Okay, and the next one is the same, except it goes up to the center instead of down to the corner. In order to make it still wind around clockwise, we have to rearrange the points a little bit. Specifically, we just flip these around. Okay, so I think let's go ahead and test this. And just to make this a little clearer, I think I'll hide the rectangle margins. Okay, so there's a right index out of range. Probably something here. Alright, let's clean this up a little bit. And make sure that I have this, the index is right. Hey Ice Boy, glad you could make it today. How are you doing? Okay, section. Okay, well this is just trying to generate the world positions, which you don't really have to do. So set points, it's just 1 plus P. And a number of unique points is just number of points on the edge minus 1. Oh, okay. Yeah, so we have to do that too, I think. Did I ever number this? Okay, not really. Okay, so yeah, oops. Trying to grab this number. There we go. That's 0.0. Oh, glad to hear you're doing good. Me too. Still a little stuffy, but definitely feeling better than yesterday anyway. Okay, well I guess this is this triangle, although that's not really correct, is it? It doesn't really matter as long as we know that this is the owner's. Oops, didn't mean to do that. The owner hexagon. Maybe I should write a note about that. It's hard to grab these little numbers. Okay. Alright, and this will again just help me debug this a little easier. Okay, so this is the owner, Or I guess origin. And then the counterclockwise neighbor and the clockwise neighbor. Alright, so yeah, the number of points on the side is, oh, it's 3 actually. But every time to get to a different point, you actually just add 2. So yeah, I do need to subtract that by 1. I think that must have been the issue. Yeah, definitely. I do feel better, so can't complain too much. Alright, so now at least it didn't crash. And that looks correct. It is a bit of a shame that we have to do so many triangles, but I wonder... It probably doesn't matter, but it might be better if I wound the triangles around like that instead of having this big wide one. That would match the visual geometry better. Okay, so if I wanted to do that, then I would do the corner, and then this, and then the center, and then corner, center, and then clockwise to the origin. Alright, let's see how that looks. Yeah, I think that's better. It doesn't really make that much of a difference, but I think if for some reason there was a big dip here caused by the bump map, the collision mesh would better match the actual visual mesh that way, just by changing around the way that I divide these triangles up. Alright, so now we gotta do the ones for the other two neighbors. I forget which is neighbor A. Okay, the clockwise is neighbor A, so we got to start with the clockwise corner. And this would be the origin. Oh wait, no, it would be the clockwise. Let me see here. So I'm trying to create these two triangles. I guess this one, it doesn't really matter which one I create first, but yeah, so that should be okay. The next one is clockwise to the center point, and then this edge, which I called that the counterclockwise to the clockwise mid. And this one is neighbor A. Okay, and then we have the last one, which is this set of triangles. And so we'd start, I need to go around clockwise. We'd start here, then that edge, and then go to the center. And then this one goes straight to the center and then goes to the origin to the counterclockwise edge. Alright, and then this is the neighbor B. Okay, so let's make sure that that is working. Okay, so we're missing somewhere around here. I got something confused because obviously there's no points right there. And this one's like all folded up on itself. But some of them are fine. That's interesting. Oh, yeah, I forgot to change this. This should just be the counterclockwise corner. Alright, there we go. Alright, so I guess the way to test this out is I need to have the game open so we can see the selection raycast. And yeah, when I'm over each one, it does turn green. You can watch up here, showing that that it is raycasting and hitting that triangle. It doesn't tell me what block I'm over. Okay, so I'll turn this back on. It's gonna spam out the debug log, but I just need to test this out to make sure I have all the logic right. Okay, so this should be block 1. And then when I switch here, it goes to block 5. So if I move right there, it should be block 5, and it is. And then this side should be block 2, and if I move here, it's block 2. Okay. So I'm pretty sure. Let's check a couple more. I think we're good. Oops. So now I'll comment this out again. And now if I go back here, I can re-enable the rectangle margins. Oops. And I think I'll be done with the collision handling for now. Oops, my filter's fallen off. There we go. Guess everything looks good to me. So obviously, there's still more I need to do with the terrain system, but I think I might take a break from working on the mesh for now until we've got some better art. We can see Well, specifically, I want to add something to do with the map edge, because right now it just doesn't look good. And then once we are out to beta 1, I'll need to do a whole lot more like below surface block visibility. Probably fix this. Which what that means is, well, it's not so bad here, but if I get more margin subdivisions, the way that I create the triangles on this 3-point margin is that all the triangles just converge on the center, and it makes it look pretty weird if the margin gets large. So, but I've kind of put it off because I know these different cliff types will make me really have to handle the triangle margin differently depending on the cliff types of all its neighbors, so I haven't really wanted to work on it too much. But yeah, this will be a few months off because I want to handle these more pressing issues first. I think we're done with the collision mesh. Oh, yeah, I never added this back in, the normal deforms based on the height map. I don't know if they're really needed that much. They're always super subtle. And it's kind of built into this points. Oops, I didn't mean to click on that. So I'm not sure if I want to work on it right now or not. It might be another one of those things that we should just see if it's needed down the road. Let me see what I'd have to do. Is like after I calculate the end section, I'd have to go back through each normal and sample around it. To figure out the normal delta and everything. I think, because I'm going to delete these old classes soon, but I think I might pull out the relevant functions that I used to figure out the normals before. So let me see. Okay, I guess I already deleted it out of here. So it's actually in the old graphics mesh generator. Yeah, I had this and make normal. Alright, that's kind of messy. Is there an X? Oh, these both just got indented for some reason. And then all it does here is it just calls different get bump sizes for different prototypes. Okay, so I'll just preserve this code. And now I'm free to delete these old classes because I think we've completely rewritten all of the terrain generation in the new system, except for the bump map normals, which I'm not sure that we'll need yet, so and delete all this old stuff. Clean up a little bit. Alright. Let me make sure that Unity still runs after that. Yep, no errors as I thought. Alright, so, okay, let's take a little break from the terrain for now. Yeah, we'll just leave these as a question mark. Maybe I can mark them, I forget the... There we go. Okay, so next I want to do... So right now I still want to work on the terrain because I want to try and get some final art in here. And for the dirt, stone, and grass, I want to have these decoration doodads, I'm calling them, which would be like a little, I don't know, flower or a stone model that we'll just place on top of the blocks to add a little flavor, because most of the texture will be kind of flat. I should write one more thing. Depth based texture darkening. Like I was saying before, to darken the textures as they're deeper in the bump map. But we'll do that later as well. So in order to do that, I want to have a new way to interact with models right now. Kind of I've started because I've kind of already started with this because the animation system referred to a model ID. So I want to, like, I don't know what the word is, but expand that so that it's not only associated with a monsters model. In the future, it'll work with these decoration doodads and also the camera and lights. And I'll basically let the mod system position things around the map with one unified code base is my goal. Okay, so how do I want to get started with this? Does the game data need to have anything about them? Probably. First of all, the monster... Okay, the monsters are actually in the battle. So yeah, the game data won't really have anything about it. I'll be in the battle. Okay, so this would have... Okay, I'll just call it a thing. I was trying to think of a word for this, because I didn't want to just call it object. I didn't want to call it a game object, because that's already a Unity thing. So I thought maybe I'd call it a thing. But I don't know, that seems... I guess I could call it a map object. Because it's something that's on the map. Well, that would work, because, yeah, the camera is also on the map and so are lights. I don't know. Maybe that'd be better, because thing is like more... I think I might confuse myself if I do that. Although there is kind of a... a charm to using the word thing for it, but... Okay, so this will be map, object ID. Okay, and so I guess here I need to have some kind of list of map objects, but I wonder if there'd be any information in the battle, or if it would all be in the UX. Let me see. I have this monster model creator, but where's the class that holds all the model objects? I thought it was like model registry or something. I guess I can look in here. Oh, I just called it game object registry. Oh, because it also stores audio sources. The global audio sources.
They talk about another kind of world.
What are you afraid of?
Let me see. Do I want to still do that or not?
I'm a little lost in old ways.
I'm not afraid.
Just listen.
Okay, what actually uses this global audio? Because I could just have a separate global audio registry. Probably that should be better because the global audio is not only in the map anyway. Okay, yeah, let's do that, and then I'll rename this to the map object registry. Okay, I closed it already. So really all I need is let's get audio source. It shouldn't support it if the model is negative anymore because then it just need to get the global audio. Well, I guess I could just have the... Well, the map object registry, it doesn't have anything to do with audio source, really. Okay, well, let's see. If args model ID is less than 0, I guess it'd be a operator like this. Then it would just be models get audio source or the global audio. Okay, yeah, something like that would work. And okay, I've got to get the global audio from here. I also need to make this a component so it can be registered into the game flow. Alright, and so I should add that back to the property inspector. Oh yeah, this is going to complain because I need to implement some interfaces. Okay, so last thing I need to do is in the sound effect player, and it calls get audio source a few times, so I'll make a helper function. This would be, again, a lot easier to do if I had my hands on the new entity component system. Because I wouldn't have to manually get a reference to this global audio. I could just have this variable here and Unity would already set it. Soon. I just need to keep telling myself. Anyway, if model ID is less than 0, then we get global audio. Otherwise, we'll get it from the models. Oh, yeah, and I actually need to return this. Okay, so that's taken care of. No, just delete this. And I think that's pretty much it, except I guess I need to create the list here. The source, sources. Do I need to? Well, yeah, if I get disposed, then I'd want to return that I'm ready for cleanup. Oh wait, do I need to do that? I could have this. I was gonna say I could make it a mono behavior so I could actually see it in Unity, but there's no real reason. It's true and sources false. Okay, this can be public. Oh, not false, this should be null. Okay, so I think there's going to be a couple errors when I load back in. Oh, that wasn't what I was expecting, but... yeah, that audio creator. So instead of using the models class, it will actually use the global audio registry. Gosh, I can't spell global very well today. But I think that's all I have to do to fix that. Okay, still compiling. Alright, so that's fixed now. What was the reason? Oh yeah, I wanted to change this game object registry to a map object. Okay, so the monster model creator, instead of safe setting it to the monster's index, should actually safe set this to the monster's map object index. Okay, so let's see. Int model index is... Okay, so I just go based on the prototype for all this. And for now, we'll just assume that the monster has a constant map object index that's not necessarily guaranteed. Also, it doesn't guarantee that, like, we don't handle if a monster dies or is removed from the map for some reason, or a new monster spawns, but this will be okay for now. Okay, so now we need to actually set this. Let me see. For now, I think the easiest way is in the team building. That's not it. Yeah, default's creator. Oh, save. Oops. That's a good point. When we load from a save, like, we don't need to save the map object index here. But I do need to save it, or somehow generate the index at some point. I guess it would just be... How do I want to do that? Because we will want to be able to create map objects as needed. And probably the battle should keep track. I'm just trying to think, is there any data here in the battle we'd want to keep track of for each map object? I guess maybe it's type. Okay, let's go ahead and create a class. Okay, yeah, this is fine. I was gonna say, like, none of this is going to be saved, but that's okay, because the battle is like the current state of the game, so it doesn't necessarily have to be everything that's saved to a file or something like that. Okay, so we'll just want to have a type here for now. I could see, like, having a block that this map object might be tied to, so it'd move around with the block. Oh wait, in okay, so for now, I know I want to have monster, and we'll add more as time comes. Like, I'm gonna have the doodad obviously, and also camera and lights. And probably, yeah, I should have a boolean here to say if it exists. I don't know, should the map object have like a reference back to its originating? Like, should the map object have an index back to the monster that owns it? Like right now, in the... Okay, let's clear some of this stuff. Nope, wrong class. I have this monster collider class that has the monster index itself. But it could... I could generic or make this object generic to where it's actually just a map object collider, and then it returns the index to the map object, and then from there we could index this map to find its owner. That's probably a better idea. That way we won't have to have a separate thing for each. Okay, so if I'm going to do that, let's update this. Okay, so I know the mouse pick. Select some monster. Let's change this to select map object. Alright, and now monster collider. I'll rename this to map object collider. Where is this, by the way? I'm not really sure what other map objects would have collision detection, but just in case. Okay, and then let's just say map object ID. Oh, this is this little case one. And then I guess as monster model creator, I could change this to just be a map object creator. Cause, well, I don't know. It figures out some stuff from the prototype, mostly just the model. But we could also figure this out, because if the map object has the type of a monster, then we would know to look at the owner's prototype and get the model from that. On the other hand, yeah, let's not get too far ahead of myself, I think. Okay. Let me see. I should make this serializable so I can see it in Unity to debug. Alright, so what else? I guess I need to change this at some point to be more generic, but let's... I don't even know how these map object classes are going to be created yet. I guess it would just happen in the team building. Because at this is the point where the monsters are set up, I think. Battle data creator. This is during loading, isn't it? Yeah, during map generation if you're loading from a save file. So it'd be at this point that we would create the map object. Because we shouldn't just automatically create it because like in the future all monsters aren't going to have to be on the board at once. So it should happen, I think, when the monster itself is created, the monster object. I guess I should see when that happens. I wanted to see when the constructor was called out, actually. So yeah, the battle creator or during this default team building thing. Okay. Well, luckily the logic for creating the data in the battle is not that difficult. Oops, sorry for knocking that. I keep on doing that today. I guess like right here. I just want to have a map object. And type equals monster. For now it will exist. And what am I trying to do here? This should be the owner. Is the monster index. Which do I know? I guess it says battle monsters count -1. Okay, I can rename this to model because that's basically what it is for the monster. Yeah, I need to create this list. I always forget to do that, and I knew that I would get a null reference exception. Okay, so now here for testing... Oh, that's what I was doing. So, for a save file... So it's right here when we add the monster. I'll basically do the same thing. And I'm not really worried about duplicating this code because this testing defaults creator is not going to be in the final game. So It's actually not long for this world because whenever we go and update the team building phase, it's going to go away. But yeah, the same code can work. Okay, so now we create this. And so the class... this monster model creator should watch... well, for now everything just starts at the beginning, so... there is like this is kind of... I wonder... no, I'll leave it. I was gonna say, should the map object have... keep track of the position and rotation here, but... I think I'll just leave it, and if we ever need to know the current position, like exactly, we can just look at the transform of the Unity game object. Okay, so I guess what I really need to do is, instead of looping through monsters, I should loop through the map objects. And then just see if it has a monster type. Well, I guess it's kind of equivalent, actually, now I think about it. It's equivalent right now, but at some point the monsters might not be instantiated on the map. Okay, so let's do that for int map object ID equals 0. Map object ID is less than the battle map objects count. Okay, oops. So we're gonna have to switch around this code a little bit. Let's change this to... I want to rename that, please. So now does the monster need to have a reference to the map object ID? Probably it's a good idea. Otherwise I'd have to look through the map objects to find the owner. But I guess until I actually use it, I can get rid of that. Alright, so what I need to do... I do need to find the monster, so... first, map object is battle map objects, and then I get that. Use the ID to reference that array. So I should just remember I should change, because we're not working on the terrain anymore. Let's see. Alright, anyway, okay, so I got that, and then from there I can get the monster. Well, I guess I need to make sure that this map object is actually for a monster, because in the future it might not be. Of type does not equal... I really don't like using that. I think a better way would be to pull all this code out into another function. Create monster. Yeah, that continue keyword, there's nothing really wrong with it. It just basically means skip to the next index in the loop, but I find that it's just kind of makes the code hard to read. Alright, now we're done with that. Dot owner. Okay, this is all the same. This should be kind of standard for every map object, but whenever I actually create the terrain doodads, we can pull this out. Actually, most of this would be standard. Okay, so I think that's fine. Let's actually try to play the game and see if the monsters will spawn. Okay, good, they still spawn. Does it still let me select one? Yeah. Although, wait, that is a little weird. Well, I guess it works for now because monster ID is still the same as the... Oh, whoa, that shadow's funny. As the model ID, but... Should have fixed that. When I changed the mouse pick to... set a map object instead of a monster, this index changed a little bit. That's still fine, but here I actually need to index the map objects and get the owner. I should also see if... Let's do it this way. So if this is a monster, then we'll try to select it. Yeah, fear the blue saber. Yeah, it did look... Oh, cool, you got it. Yeah, I didn't realize at first. Almost fully decked out now. Oh, Apple, why are you bothering me right now? Okay, so does this still work? Oh yeah, I need to try and fix your name. Yeah, still no issues. Okay, good. Alright, so what's the next step? I think... Have I taken care of everything currently in the game, so now I need to add support for the doodads. Well no, not quite. Let me see. Well, yeah, I should check to make sure that's actually true. So every time a model ID is referenced, we should update that. Okay, this is in the Lua interface. Did I make the monsters myself? Yeah. If you're talking about the in-game, I did model them and animate them. It's pretty fun. I'd like to do more 3D modeling, but might have to start another project just for that, because I don't know how much I'll do it in this game, since it's supposed to be mostly about mods. Oh, glad you like them. Yeah, I think they turned out pretty good. I think if I did it again, I'd need to add a little bit more detail to the shell, but I guess you live and learn. Okay, so I'm not going to worry about the Lua interface for now because... Oh, well, this is actually hidden from Lua anyway. Okay, so let's change this to map object ID. And hopefully I'll be able to catch all these. I have a feeling that I might miss some. Yeah, so basically all the animation commands I need to change the logic around them instead of just the name. I think what I'll do, this will be a bit destructive, but so I catch everything. Oh, thanks, Ice Boy. Is basically every time I have model ID, I won't refactor rename. I'll just rename it myself, so that way Unity will tell me all the times it's referenced, and I can make sure that it uses correct logic. Okay, and yeah, so let's get rid of the search. And nothing here. It's mostly going to be all those various commands, which now knowing about the new Unity system, I don't know if we'll need, but okay, the mixer ID is still fine. And the cool thing about this map object ID is that, again, like anything, the mod system can send these commands on any map object, so it'll be really easy to animate the camera, for example, using the same system. Okay, nothing wrong there. That's all good. Alright, so there's gonna be a lot of problems in here, I know. Let's first check this animations. I guess this is another thing. So the set animation param and almost... Yeah, they set Boolean integer float. We should create a new like map object class. And then just using the some variable in here. What do I call it? The battle state. Because right now we can get a monster from here or a block. We'll just say get that's a good point. Get map object. No, I don't think we do it that way. We'd first get the monster and then get the map object from the monster. Yeah. But anyway, we just need a new map object class for Lua. Okay, and moon sharp user data. I put this tag to tell moon sharp, which is our Lua interpreter, that this class can be passed to Lua. And I'm going to hide the constructor so that Lua cannot create new instances of this class. Okay, we'll have map object ID here. Okay, so let's close all those classes. So in the animations, I want to... This is fine, but yeah, this parameter and all these, and then movement and rotation, and probably this as well, should all go into the map object. Oh, I didn't delete it. Start timer can stay in here. So this wait for animation, it waits for a specific animation on the model, and same with the signal, so they'll also go onto the map object class. Looks like my internet's been holding up today. Makes me glad to see it. Okay, so we need this game link class. Oh, that makes sense. The game link is Lua's link to the rest of the game, basically. So for that, I need to create another constructor, and I'm going to throw not supported exception here so that I never accidentally call this constructor. We still need to have it here because we need to hide it from Lua. Okay, but most of these functions should be able to be used right away, except I just changed this map object ID. And I don't think I even need to call this anymore. I'll just give my own map object ID. What did this do actually? So yeah, it checked if it was a monster, and then if it was a monster, it tried to give me the model index. So yeah, this is I'll just tag this as obsolete. Okay, so that's simple. I don't use that. That was incorrect anyway, but... So the model name. I don't even need this target, do I? Yeah, because we get rid of that, because this class itself is the target. Maybe I should... Well, I guess I'll have a name here. Public get... Oh, that's not how you do that. String name get... I don't know what I'll do there. And then we'll have a type here as well. Okay, so switch. Data map object, and this is the game's map object class. D, and then I'll just need to switch the type. Okay, right now we just have monster and none, so... Okay, and then here on the name, I think I'll do the same type of thing. And then if it's a monster, I think I'll need to get... It's gonna be a little... confusing. So first I need to get the prototype ID. So monsters, game, map object dot owner ID. And then, because right now the monsters themselves don't have names, probably will let players give them a nickname at some point, but oh, come on. Alright, that's good enough. Okay, so now I can just use the name here. Okay, and again, the target doesn't exist, so I can get rid of that. So this simplifies things quite a bit. Okay, and same with this, we don't need to have a target class, or a target variable. And this should just be the map object ID. And it's just same variable that we have in the actual class. And okay, so this is rotation. It's pretty similar. Right, so just a couple more functions to update, I think. Thankfully, this hasn't really been that complicated. Alright, so I think good here. Alright, so the first thing is I need to add a way to get a map object from the monster. Okay, so I need to use the Lua object registry for this. Right now it's kind of simple, but in the future monsters might not always have a map object, for instance. But we'll deal with that when the time comes. Oh right, and the monsters themselves don't have a reference to their map object. Okay, I mean, we could just loop through them. Wait, I'm doing this wrong. Map object. Okay, so if map object type is monster and map object dot owner is us, then found. Okay, so I do actually need the index. So battle map objects count. Okay, there we go. Oh yeah, I need to specify that this is the game logic class and not the Lua interface class. Okay, so if found is greater than or equal to 0, then we return that. Otherwise, we'll would I return null or throw an error here? I guess I'll throw an error for now. Script. Monster has no existing map object. Oh, just toString. Okay, so now I need to create this class. Or this object. Does anything actually use... Probably, okay. Yeah, I keep going back and forth about about whether I like this class or not, because it's like really huge, but really all it does is store references to a bunch of other objects, and I don't really know a way to, or a better way to organize these classes. I guess if I ever do convert the Lua interface to be entity component based, we would just have a bunch of systems that would return these values, and then we just create this as a new entity, but I don't know, it's not super important because all this logic is really simple. Alright, so basically what I need to do here is if this map index ID larger than the list count, or the value in that list at that position is null, then we need to return a new value, or create a new value and return that. Otherwise, we'll just return the existing value. Equals map objects. And I'll use the safe get class, which really all it does is that if map index is greater than the size of the list, it will return null. So if map object, oh, I forgot the if keyword. Then we'll want to create a new one. And I gotta pass it the game link, and also its ID. I forgot about that. And then I need to set it to this index on the list, so I could use a safe set which basically does the same thing. It extends the size of the list to accommodate whatever index I give it. And there we go. So I think now I've updated the system to work how I want. What about the audio source? Okay, yeah, it still uses the model ID. So I did change that map object ID. I guess I should see where this is called from in the audio class. Okay, so I'll need to go update this soon. Okay, that's fine. It's all good so far. Okay, and so this audio class, we have get source. Really, this could just go inside the map object class now. Okay, so let's just call this get audio source. Oops. Map object ID. Okay, let's get audio ID. I think is still fine. All right. So yeah, I can get rid of this. And this is for global audio. So let's just rename this to get global source. Okay, and the audio mixers can stay the same. Okay, so let's see what Unity tells me. I think there's still going to be more problems with the rest of the animation system. Oops. Yeah, so let's just trying to find the correct audio source, because I didn't want to have a 2-index dictionary map to store these, so I just loop through the array. Which is probably fine because I'm not going to be needing to get those that often. Okay, and then here's that get audio ID. So, yeah, this is... check to see if it exists. I guess we'll still do that for the audio. Okay, nothing to change here, and this code doesn't really have any issues. I think most of the problems will be back down here in the UX. That's good. Yeah, I think it's turning out that a lot of the these classes aren't actually affected by it. The main thing I had to change was in the interface so that we get the map object from the monster instead of just assuming that the monster had the same idea as the map object, but I think it's still smart to look through all these classes to make sure that the logic is good. Okay, so far no issues because I already updated these. I thought there'd be something here. Okay, that's fine. Do I want to rename this array though? I don't know, it doesn't really matter. Most of these things don't actually... Like, they already assume they were given the map object ID, I just called them the model ID at the time. They didn't actually associate it with a monster specifically. Oops. Alright, I think that's the majority of the errors, but... Okay, no, there's still quite a bit more, actually. Okay, so the active monster... So I need to actually find the map object for this monster, which would mean I have to loop through everything again. It looks like I do that a few times. Oh, what's this about? I thought I fixed this already. I guess I missed some. And the model creator. Anyway, so back to here. So unless I... Oh gosh, I'm sorry. That came out of nowhere. Anyway, so unless I change this, the action actually have a reference to the model ID, which I don't really want to do, then I need to look through the monster, or look through the models to find the monster that owns it. Which, I mean, it's not that hard to do, but I just don't like having to copy code. Basically, we would just loop through them again like I did up here, if I can find it again. So private... no. Do it here. So I want the monster from the action index. active monster. Okay, let's see. Do I have to do that some other time? Oh yeah, also set facing. I don't know. I still think it's worth it to keep it separated because I know having like pointers both ways is going to really open me up to a lot of bugs. We don't even have the battle here, but still have that in there just in case. So this should be... Okay. I guess another way I could do that is we could actually have a function that would loop through and do it for us, but I mean really this logic is not that difficult. Okay, so I think it's done. It's gonna recompile. Okay. Battles assignment not used, and then it the collider triangle generation system. Thought I did use it somewhere, that's why I added this in. And this model name's not used, so yeah, I can get rid of that. Oh, that's okay. It's just telling me that Unity doesn't really like that I named this class an audio source because it's same as a Unity's built-in class, but that's not a mono behavior anyway, so. Okay, so no errors so far. I know that we'll get script errors if I actually try to move one of these monsters, but we'll see anyway. Yeah, it's gonna say cannot access field set boolean of animations because I moved that function. Now we need to update this. Where is it? It's actually in the ability scripts. Okay, so facing utilities towards... That's still fine. I guess the thing is, I should probably change this user to be the map object. So map object for the monster. And then I just change this to user dot do rotate animation. And then this is user dot set boolean. And user dot move linear. Oh yeah, this is not user though. This is animations. So we wait for this specific action. And then user get audio source jump. Okay, I probably will miss one of these changes, but we'll test that as we go. Okay, so again, I want this to be on the user, so . Okay, and then that just checks that. That's fine. Oh, do rotate animation. Okay, yeah, that's actually a helper function, so I do need to pass user to this. Yeah, up here. Okay, so I need to know the facing. So for that I need to the monster. Okay, let's do it this way. So user monster. And then the local user map object is user monster dot map object. Okay, and user facing. I think that's all right. And so here instead of, okay, let's do the same thing. Can I, how do I rename it? Okay, can't really do that easily. So let's just change this to local monster equals args selection monster. And then I'll just pass the monster in there because it needs both. Okay. One other question that I'm wondering is for this like set facing, I call this actions class to do it, but I wonder if I should just do this on the actual monster itself now, since I kind of do that with these different animations. But let's not change anything else for now, and check to make sure that script runs. Okay, we did get something. Cannot access field position of map object at line 40. Oh, right. Audio source name is empty at line 57. Okay, well, it's obviously not. What would that be? Map object, get audio source. Oh, right, I forgot to get rid of that extra argument. Okay, another thing. Current access field do move of map object. Well, that's... Oh. Did I change the name? I don't remember changing the name. Apparently I did. Oh, this is... should be actions do move. Although... Yeah, that's what I was talking about. I don't know if I should change it so that the monster itself could have this do move. But now I'm kind of leaning towards yes. The reason I didn't before is because you should only be able to change it when actions can't... Oh, thought I was going to cough again. When actions can be taken, but I think it's not really that confusing. I mean, I think it's more confusing to have them separated into a different class. Okay, nil monster pass to do move. Oh, right. Because I was passing the user and I need to pass monster. I didn't even spell it right anyway, but... Cannot convert a user data to a controller type. Monster. At line 81. Oh, again. The wrong variable here. Okay, well now it works. And I think we're just in time, actually. So I did that. I did that. So I think we're done with map objects. I just need to add in the decoration doodads. So let's see. Should I make another page for this? I don't know how big of a project this will actually be. So let me add in here. Change Lua interface actions class. Let's see. And roll into the let's see, the monster class. So basically, instead of calling action set facing monster final facing, we'll just call monster set facing final facing. And then it will just throw an error if we're not in a place where we can actually execute actions. But yeah, so for this decoration doodads, we want to have them spawned automatically on map generation. And then at some point we'll want to allow mods to spawn them, but we might push that back to some other time. Yeah, that's about it. Like later on when we allow blocks to be changed and moved, we'd want these doodads to be deleted or moved with the blocks, but we're not actually going to support that in beta 1, so I don't think I have to do anything else. Basically, we just want these to be spawned on map generation and allow mods to specify models, chance to spawn, etc. Things like that. Okay, but yeah, we finished that all in one day. I'm kind of surprised because I thought this might be a bigger refactoring of the system, but it was pretty painless, and I think it did improve the script a lot, except one thing I wonder is that if you just called like monster set boolean or one of these things on the monster, if it would just assume that you're talking about its map object, and then vice versa, or if you called map object facing, it would think you're talking about the monster. But that might get kind of ambiguous, so I don't know if that's a good idea. That way we wouldn't, but if I did do that, we wouldn't have to keep around two different variables. But anyway, I think that's it for me for today. I'm gonna go grab something to eat and do some other work. But yeah, I'll be back tomorrow at about noon Eastern at the latest. And if you want to be notified when I go live, feel free to follow me here or on Twitter. And then of course I have my YouTube channel where I post old streams, and my Discord where you can chat with me throughout the day. I'd love to have you at either place, or even just here if you want. But yeah, I think that's it. I'll put links in chat, and also I'll leave the stream up a bit so you can get some more coins for your avatars. And yeah, I hope to see you tomorrow. So have a great day. Bye-bye, everybody.